40,000 naira to feed a child that didn't grow up properly who end up in prison. Because the best way to keep our prison system alive is not to train our kids when they're growing up. You know, it's the easiest way to build the mass that goes to prison. You know, I'm not saying that every prisoner didn't go to school. Yeah. There are a lot of criminals in our political system who are well educated.
But the real criminals are not in prison.
Yeah, they are not in prison.
Yeah, those in prison are
but
those.
Imagine that we are spending 14,000 naira to feed a prisoner per day. But we are not willing to spend 100,000 naira to send a child to school per year. And the money is there. You know, we have money, huge amount of money lying around from UBEC. Is in the coffers of the Central Bank of Nigeria. But governors are required to add their own so that before they can distribute. But governors are not interested in drawing down the UBEC money because their children don't go to school.
Yeah, why should they?
So even when it gets to them, they use it for other things. They embezzle the money.
Like my own governor in Ogun State, he's been building one model school for 8 years now. That model school
has not been completed, but he has completed his house in Adetomiwa.
He has completed his house in Dubai.
Yeah, in Dubai.
You know, he's one of the richest Nigerians right now. Yeah. Somebody told me with classified information and evidence that my governor is worth over 800 billion naira. Wow. I was like, how is that possible? How is that possible? Then they started showing me cash picture that there are people in Nigeria that can sum up cash up to $50 billion for presidential campaign.
Absolutely. This is where Buhari is getting all his money from. You know, that's why you see your governor has a different candidate for governor and a different candidate for this year.
So that's why
because they cannot afford to be out of the political system. Otherwise, they will be bankrupted. Yeah.
So that's how Saraki was able to make 400 million for each state. The last
and he said something like,
that's a violation of electoral act. You are not permitted to donate more than 1 million naira to any campaign. Somebody verbally opened his mouth, you know,
and
verbally
400 million.
When did he get it? That he paid 400 million per state. One person, and that person is still not under arrest. Badero in Ogun State said he gave the incumbent governor of Ogun State 200 million, $1 million votes. Then it was 200 million naira. On the eve of the campaign, on the eve of the election, to run things, to buy votes. And that dude is still on the street.
In fact, he's running for office himself now.
And INEC is not doing anything to disqualify him, but to do anything.
Now, let's speak on something else. Another thing that bothers me most is that, in fact, he exposes our hypocrisy as a country. Healthcare. Politicians in this country feel comfortable, right, to face electorate and tell them that I'm going to give you good health. I'm going to build, a new healthcare system for you and the rest of that. But they never did, right? So, to the point that even our own president spokesman came on here and told us that. Sorry, one second. I want to capture my face properly there. Help me with that. Sorry. Yeah, thank you. So, the spokesman for the president came out and said, President Buhari, and I think it was in 2016, right? That President Buhari was going to London to fix ear infection.
I didn't given so many ridiculous.
And at the same time, these guys are not just hurting the entire country; they even hurt themselves, whereby the budget for healthcare in Sowore, and if, the first lady came out and said there was no even a syringe, not to talk of a tablet.
Why should they buy it?
So.
There's no basis. Look, don't let us waste our time with what the first lady said and what the president did say. There is no.
But we can see the raw of the healthcare in this country.
There's no incentive for them to build anything here.
There's no reason for that.
So the president of the country don't go to Nigeria hospital when he's sick, even if it's an ear infection. When his daughter got pregnant, Sarah, she didn't have a kid, baby in Nigeria. There's no incentive to be a Nigerian citizen, even by the daughter of the president. The reason they have their kids abroad is because they want their kids to have citizenship of other countries, because they can't wait to run away from here.
So what are you going to do?
When they want to go on vacation, they don't go to any of they don't go anywhere. They just ship out of Nigeria. So what we want to do, or what we will do, is, as I've said, build Nigeria, right? Today, if a Nigerian celebrity travels to Ghana, 5 minutes later, he's sending us pictures of the airport in Ghana as if he went to the moon.
Because of who we are.
Because we don't have anything working for us over here. If we have to build this country, we have to invest in this country, we have to make the necessary arrangement for people in this country to have what they deserve. That is why I'm very passionate about minimum wage, for workers, because if they get a minimum wage that is close to a living wage, they will invest in this country, they will invest in their children, the local economy will be booming. Whereas when you pay a senator 14 million naira, the moment he gets paid, he travels to Dubai, or he will buy a car for his girlfriend.
Spend the money.
The money is never spent here. But when you give money to regular people, they will spend it in their own. And this is how it is done. Sometimes people will tell you that, oh, America is a capitalist society. I've never seen any society that's probably as socialist as America, even though they don't call it that. Because if you look at what they invest in welfare of ordinary people, even the subsidies that they give to farmers, and the fact that they can go and loot any country outside America
just to buttress that point, there are people that make almost $80,000 yearly on government subsidies in America. They live on Section 8 government housing. Of course, you get subsidy on your housing. You get what is called Obama phone. We call it Lifeline. You are too poor to afford a phone. The telephone company must give you phone and give you service on it, including data. So you can be checking information on Facebook. It's a law. There's a law for that. Then you get Obama phone. They call it Obama phone that time. You get food stamps. The minimum you get on your food stamp is $200 in some states, $160 in some states. Now, if it's just you, if you are like a family of 3, 4, you get up to 1,200. So you get food stamp, you get subsidized housing,
and you get Medicaid.
You get Medicaid, meaning you can go to hospital for anything that is wrong with you
and get treated.
They
have no right to reject you. They have Medicaid.
In Nigeria, there's no ambulance. Like if something happened right now, you have to take Okada. You see that picture of that burnt dude that was roasted, and that guy, the only means he can get to the hospital is to sit on an Okada. There was nobody even holding him. You see that's the shit old status of Nigeria right now. So in America, it's more like a socialist country, even though they make it look like it's full capital.
America has got its own problem, which is something we can discuss in the future. But we are talking about our country now. So, and all this investment that we need to make is not that expensive. Forget about all these things they tell you that, because they always have a pushback position when you say, why didn't you build? Why are you talking about Nigeria like that? Nigeria don't have enough money to do what you're asking us to do. When you look at the budget is been budgeted for to do road from Lagos to Abeokuta maybe in the last 20 years, every year. And somebody will take the money that's meant for the roads, convert it to his own, build a house. We were having a conversation before we came down. Now, where do government people get money to buy tires to build their own hotels?
Gigantic hotels.
But they cannot get tires to build, the state general hospital. So, and it is deliberate. It's deliberate wickedness for people to take what belongs to the majority of our people, convert it to their own. And we go there and praise them and we talk about it. Wow, look at this house, massive house. This man, God has blessed him. And
they give him shifting
and you give them national awards. We have to change also our value system, in such a, but that one has to come internally. It's the work we have to do in reprogramming our people. I don't want to say that people are brainwashed.
They brainwashed.
No, the reason I don't say, let me just say, the reason I don't say they are brainwashed is that the people who are governing Nigeria, they don't have the brain power to brainwash anybody. So we are ascribing to them the capacity they don't.
I agree with that.
Somebody who doesn't talk to you, how can you brainwash you?
So probably they employ people to brainwash. See, just to buttress your point too, I used to tell people when Bengadane was governor in my state, because I like to use my state as an example. He built
Ogun State.
He built conference hotel with good tiles, everything. The same year, he built hospital in my local government, the Adetomiwa Hospital. That Adetomiwa Hospital is dilapidated. There was no bed, but there was bed in the conference hotel. So I was now telling people, they said, I shouldn't say that he was rich. I said, okay, is the governor richer than the state?
every bed has a comforter.
You understand what I'm trying to say?
Like 5 comforters.
5 layers of
they have washing machine
on it.
So why can't we have the same for the
guess what? The grass.
Some rooms have like 10 pillows.
The grass in Conference Hotel is greener than the area that we eat. You understand what I'm trying to say? And there's a big, huge bush in front of Adetomiwa Hospital today. So these people are deliberately.
So it's a deliberate.
They are stupid because they don't have ideas, and they are the wickedness is deliberate. Yeah. Just like he said, they intentionally do it to make people poor, so that people can be subject to their command. Because, like he said, I don't really believe they have common sense. They are not that smart, but they hired people to help them brainwash the people. Because if you look at it now, it is the same people, the oppressed, the suffer, the downtrodden, that are defending them. They are the one that will tell us, just shut up, how much do you have? It shouldn't be about money or how much help we can give to them. Yeah. You understand what I'm trying to say? So just to protest your point, these people are evil. You will see the houses they are building in Daurana. It's better than the hospital federal government is building. So when a senator told me that federal government only spent 800 billion or 2.6 trillion, allocated for capital expenditure in 2018. So you expect to spend almost 3 trillion for capital expenditure, and you refuse to spend the money, even though the money is on ground. But guess what? The president has never refused to collect his security votes.
Yes,
he has never refused to collect every allocation allocated for. I don't want to say White House. All his 70,000 million naira babbing fee. If whether he babbed here or not, even when he was in hospital, he's collecting his babbing fee, and they are not babbing the year in the hospital. You understand? So look at that. So they've been collecting all the money as allocated for themselves, and they've been refusing to allocate the money for projects. Because if you build the roads, if you build the hospitals, who are the people that will use it? The poor people. So they don't want poor people to have anything. So that is why I want my president to take his message more to the poor, to let them know that he's fighting for them, he's working for them. It is in their own interest to stop defending these people. If people come to destroy this place now, to disrupt our event, they will never be old people.
Of course,
they will never be rich people.
The same young
it's going to be the young one that they've hired people to brainwash. I don't want to say they are the one brainwashing them. So please,
it's a pattern of oppression actually. Not even the people they hire to supposedly brainwash. I've never been able to identify anyone of them.
Oh, like Analytica, Cambridge Analytica. They hire those white people to
but those ones are just occasional interventions. But they are permanent people that use. They're not smart. I see the articles in the newspaper. They don't have depth. When they make arguments, because they dominate the conventional media.
I mean, they have one of your friends, Oluwaseyi, is one of those.
I don't want to react to I don't know him well enough to call him my friend. These are people that we met nominally during, the 2015. I wouldn't even say, I think I met Tolu for the first time after 2015 at the social media week in Lagos. So we don't.
So you guys are just like acquaintances.
Yeah, that's right. So, but let's even assume that those ones are hired. So I don't see.
These are the ones
they're not smart.
They are not exactly. I've had
you can't sell a bad product even if you have the best salesperson.
I mean, like you see Abati that was hired by the previous government to bamboozle us is now
deputy governor to Roji. So that tells you something.
Now let's speak of this, because presently now Nigeria. When I was in Glasgow, I usually think, well, I believe things were really bad, but since I came down to this place, I found out that it's actually worse. It's like Nigeria is underreported, right?
Oh yeah.
I've seen children begging, and the numbers has been like sort of increasing and all of that. And there's no sign, there's no hope that it's going to change. Everyone is busy about 2019 right now and all of that, but it's someone like you, right? People can have something to look up to, something new, something fresh, and the rest of that, right? Let's take this issue of unemployment, poor education, and so on and so forth. The poverty, spreading poverty, is sort of pushing more people to crime, so to say, because people need to survive. Now, Boko Haram guys, up there, are not mainly Nigerians anymore. We now have a porous border whereby people from the J, Chad,
let me stop you in your tracks. It's an oxymoron to claim that Nigeria has porous borders.
We don't even have border. Yeah?
If you say that you are saying that there's a border somewhere, it's leaking in some places. So one of the things I did so that I'm not in doubt about how bad things are was to travel around Nigeria, you know, on ground, by air, in some cases by water. And I've done all of it since I started 9 months ago. I went up to a place called Jimba, and this was live stream. It's a border town between Nigeria and I think Nigeria Republic in Zamfara State. They have just one pole, you know, to demarcate the border. You know, it's a transactional border crossing between our immigration department, customs, and whoever wants. You can bring anything to Nigeria. There's a market nearby there where there's human trafficking, you know, weapons I'm sure being sold. What I've said, and it's true, is that there is this country is vast land of ungoverned territory. Yes, nobody is governing a huge swath of land in Nigeria, and that has led to the creation of ungovernable parts of the country. And what is ungovernable? The moment there is vacuum in leadership of governance, some elements will take over whatever they can take over. So you go to Niger Delta, you walk into a market, somebody will alert you and say they are in charge of this market. That they are not police, they are not government. They are governing the place, and they are rendering the place ungovernable for government. The same thing is happening along the borders. We don't have any border police. We don't have any border demarcation. You know, so they don't even have like milestones. So you're just walking and out. You know, you pay your regular fee to customs, depending on who is closer to you, depending on what you are bringing in. You pay to customs, immigration, they collect it. You walk in, walk out. You go and do whatever you want to do. You can bring a weapon of mass destruction into Nigeria, explode it, and drive back out.
Wow.
So nothing will stop. So we don't have borders.
So the story they've been saying is true, that the border patrol, what we have as our own border patrol, the custom officer, they are not working for the government, they're working for the private people like Dangote to help them check.
They don't even hide it. So these days you will even see immigration officers, custom officers driving cars that are donated by individuals. They write it there, donated by Association of Border, Custom, or something. In Port Harcourt, we are accompanied by 2 police cars that were donated by Dangote Foundation. The moment you allow security to become a philanthropic process, then how do you then send the police to go arrest Dangote if he commits a crime? I visited the state border access. They have the custom vehicles are donated to them by
the locals,
probably even smugglers.
The locals, do you know what they told me? They said Dangote gave guns to Nigerian security to kill them. I said, why would you do that? They said, well, because they import 1 or 2 bags of rice to eat, and that they felt that one is disturbing their own market share. And because of that, because the big people who has given money to the to border patrol and custom officers to kill anybody at sight, that they decimated all their villages, they've killed their people. There are all the young ones that are growing up in their villages, and they are not from there, they are from the north. I said, why? They said, well, because they felt like that is what is going on. So now that story is true, that our government apparatus is true. They are working.
They have been privatized. Yes.
So what I'm going to do about security generally, if you don't mind sharing, because we know all these problems now, right?
Yeah.
And I keep saying that all we need is just a political will. So if someone like you have the opportunity, finally, next year, without us waiting for 6 months and anymore before you can take action, what would be your first line of action in covering some of, because you can't cover the border even in 2 years, so to say, right?
Oh yeah, you can't cover it, but you can reform. You can do a lot of things that will reform processes along the border. You can create artificial borders.
But people keep saying that, you know what people say, right? They say you're not going to bring in your new people. You still have to make use of the same people working there.
You can make use of new people to take control of processes, and make sure that government is being run transparently and effectively. You can do that. The president has the capability to hire over 10,000 people. When Buhari had the chance, he hired dead people. You saw that. So And I'm not going to take 6 months to appoint ministers. It takes place that first week of swearing in, if not the day of swearing in, ministers will be announced. And all the people that are needed will be brought in immediately, in charge of border security. We bring in people who are technologically wired, because a lot of the processes that we need to handle can also be automated. We can be checking our borders without necessarily putting too many officers there. We have technology that can even look at our borders around without, we have unmanned area vehicles that can be checking borders for us, look at where they are porous, make our agents move there immediately. We can create artificial borders in very horrible places where there's frequency of intrusion by these characters. And but here we're talking about people who are only interested in border where it is lucrative. So everybody wants to work in Owode, they want to work in Benin Republic, Cotonou, they want to work at the airport, they want to work at the ports. Nobody wants to work in Zamfara because it's not lucrative. So when you have a government that is doing its job, that is doing what is right, and is effectively doing that, everybody will sit on. What is interesting is that we have met civil servants in the course of doing this who said to us, look, the reason we are doing what we are doing is because everybody is doing it. If someone comes out to say we cannot continue like this, we will have to sit up, because we know that there are rules and processes that will make us lose our jobs if we don't do what is right. But nobody is asking us to do anything. We just come to work, we do what we have to do, as opposed to doing what we should be doing. So, and this is as a result of the fact that this government people are not interested in governance. If you give Buhari another 20 years, he has nothing else to offer you. The man's brain is empty. There's nothing up there that can move this country in any particular progressive direction than what you are getting now. Even people who are with them, who are working for them, when they have moments of truth, if you are close to them, they will tell you that the problem of the man is that he has nothing upstairs. But that's the kind of leaders they want, because they can hide behind an empty guy to perpetrate all kinds of atrocities and enrich themselves and say, it's Buhari, don't blame me. But if you have a leader who is taking charge, who can stand up to and ensuring that he's available to work 24/7, he doesn't close after 4 hours of work to go and rest for 12 hours. That's what I heard. Man doesn't work more than 4 hours a day. He doesn't read. Yeah. He doesn't communicate.
They read intelligence report to him in Fufude because he can't read it in English.
So I don't care how it is read to him, but I doubt that he's even listening to the Fufude version of it. I don't even think he can process, because for you to process Fufude now, you must be able to process, your brain must be able to process something. What we're getting is different, and it's very important that people know this. Until you make that decision, you can make conscious decision to elect or put in place a leader who can make things happen. We're just wasting it. See, I hate to keep repeating the same thing, because it's obvious and known to a lot of people that this current situation is unsustainable. Like, it cannot take you and I, or anybody for that matter, anywhere. So why are we here deceiving ourselves that we can argue from now till eternity? The line is clear between good and bad, between progress and backwardness and retrogression, between peace and war, between order and chaos. Yes, the line is clear, and we already know. Those who are watching us, they know.
Since you are still on security, yes. What do you think about the policy of giving amnesty to Boko Haram and reintegrating them into Nigerian military?
No, look, the problem is not who you give amnesty to. The problem is who is running the military. Amnesty is our own lazy way of resolving the problem. Yes. So we try all our things and it doesn't work. We say, okay, maybe if we give amnesty to a few people, it will help us. It's not going to help us. What you do when you have an insurgency in your hand is, usually all form of insurgency lasts 10 years. And if you cannot kill it at 10 years, you have to completely change your strategy. It's the reason why I said to people, I'm going to fire every garden general that's involved in fighting insurgency. all of them, their hands are soiled. They are prolonging insurgency because it is big business.
So making money from it.
They are making money. It's not going to end with this, present crop of generals. This is how they make their money. You are wasting your time thinking that these generals will one day wake up and say, okay, we're tired of Boko.
You say Brutai didn't buy the house with snake farming proceeds?
It's not. It's a lie.
There's a place in Kuto where they have lots of snakes. The people are still poor, so I'm trying to wonder.
You know how you make money from snakes?
I was able to buy mansions.
But it's part of what we're saying. To even find Nigerians who can justify that kind of stupid phrasing of the line of stupid thought tells you that we are in trouble in this country. Snake farming, the man doesn't even have up to maybe 20 snakes in his snake farm.
And just like Saraki said, he's making money from selling rice, farming rice. Yeah. I went to Lorraine last week. I went around some places in Kwara State. I didn't see a single silo. When you drive around in Midwest America, right, you see those silos in every rice mills. You see those elevators, beside the train.
You don't even have to drive.
So that that they are planting
all the silos in America and know which one is working and which one is what is kept inside.
So there's no silo in Kwara. So where are they storing the rice before they process it?
There's no rice.
Or are they selling the rice straight from the farm?
There's no rice.
And you see my own state governor too said there was something called Mitros rice, because I don't want to use East because it never existed.
We had the rice pyramid constructed in Ogun State.
We took camera there, we found out that it was sandbags and sawdust backed. And
not even rice.
Not rice. But can they even buy rice?
Who will defend that?
Can they even buy rice and pretend that rice was planted in our state? Probably imported rice. You know what I mean? Put it in bags and deceive us properly.
And in the middle of this
people are so arrogant with their deception.
There are some people that have even tried little and have shown that they can do wonders. The guy at Kebbi, also a thief, because he used to keep Abacha's money. He made 120 billion naira from growing rice last year.
Wow.
120 billion.
So why did he stop?
He hasn't stopped. He's still doing it. Yeah, he's still doing it. In fact, he has a relationship with Lagos,
Lake rice.
If you are a state government in Nigeria, the most amount of money you can get from federal allocation is 4 billion. So you multiply 4 billion by 12 months, you don't even get up to what the guy made.
Not even half.
Yes. So what that tells you is that with a little bit of ingenuity and commitment, there is ability in this country to be self-sustaining, to have food security. And that takes us to why in the agricultural sector, we are going to create 1,000 entrepreneurs for our local government. So you can grow whatever. For example, my own part of Ondo State, we have fish there. Yeah. Even if we cannot find fish in the lake because of the oil pollution, we will create fisheries all over the place. And we're supplying fish to everyone because there's plenty of water. Everywhere you turn in around North there's water. The lake in my village you can grow fish in it. You can just go in there, seal one side up and put new fingerlings in it.
You can even put nets around it, clean the water with calcium carbonate to take away any acidity, and then put fingerlings and feed them.
So that there's balance. There needs to be pH balance too. But nobody's willing to do anything. Everybody is just waiting for oil money.
And the oil is not.
And it's more lucrative to be a militant than to be a fisherman.
Yeah, the oil is not. You see,
but you can make more money being a fisherman than being a militant.
The oil is not even bringing money. This is a field I wish I could tell Nigerians. Yes. I know much about oil business.
Yeah,
do you know that NNPC is yet to make profit since 1979? If you put NNPC on the table as a company like UAC, like another company, they don't make profit. Every of their investment in joint venture is coming from federal budgets.
Yes.
And they never bring in profit. The only thing they bring back is royalty. Those companies actually paid for federal government if we don't have NNPCs in the first place. So what do you think you're going to do in curbing corruption in NNPC?
No.
What are you going to do?
The NNPC may not be making profits, but people in NNPC are making profits.
Sure.
Obviously. Sure. And what we will do with NNPC is transparency. We have to bring in people there who can run the place transparently. If we know how much we're selling, how much we're making from joint venture, how much we're making from royalties, as a reporter, I saw documents upon documents of people who didn't pay royalties. Yes. In fact, we lost $60 billion to unpaid royalties.
Why should they
because
pay?
There's no incentive.
They said the NPC is owing them cash call, so they are using the royalty to pay for the cash call.
The question is,
how are they able to operate those things? How are they able to invest without any?
But the question you should ask yourself is, why is it that the joint venture companies, the guys on the other side, are making huge profits? Because they are gaming us, because they know that our system is not transparent. You understand? You know this is the truth within even in terms of knowing how many barrels of oil we export. This is the only country in the world where the calibrators don't work.
Oh, nothing works here. I don't want to mention.
They fill it up.
I don't want to mention my own company, so that I don't damages. You see, you know that the Nigerian department or the Nigerian region of my company is governed differently from the rest of the global one. Because the way they operate here is different. I don't
opaque.
want to,
everything is opaque. It's hidden.
The way they operate here. I was reading our news one day, and they say our branch in Nigeria operated for 10 years without a single injury, no recordable injury. I'm like, how is that possible? Nobody, no finger, nobody put their finger. This is something that happened
frequently. Even in America.
Yeah, in America, where there's training, there's OSHA, there's everything. So I'm like, how did they make it 10 years, no single recordable injury? How did it happen? Our HR department here is now living in London. It's not like I can call the Canada department of our region of our company and ask a question. In Nigeria, there's nobody to call. You see the name, you see the number is not working. So that's to tell you that the system in our own NPC is really, really bad. Because I am against the current system we use in mining our oil because it's limiting our production. For instance, I felt like the oil should belong to the people, and let people go and invest in it and pay taxes back to government. So that way government doesn't have to look for money they don't have, and the production will not be capped. For instance, I'm going to use the state of North Dakota as an example. In 2005, the state of North Dakota was producing 5,000 barrels of oil a day. But because the state have a kind of a law called mineral rights, where the individual who owns the land owns the oil. The people went and put in their pension together for 1K to invest in their own property. Do you know that as at the time oil crashed in 2014, even up to this moment, the state of North Dakota is producing 1.3 million barrels of oil a day. That is almost the amount of oil Nigeria is producing within how many years of turnaround? 5 years of turnaround. And the reason why that was possible was because government is not putting in any money. All what government did was provide the roads for people to drive in their truck, the infrastructure. So
you pay taxes.
You understand? So now in your own land, though there is oil, you cannot go to your village and drill borehole and bring the oil out when you drill water out. The reason is because the government said they own it. Now the government that own it is not using our facilities. They are not investing in it. It's there. So everybody in that village are poor right now because what God gave them, endowed them with, they can't use it. And the government said they don't have money to use it, and nobody's making profit. So for government to actually mine Nigerian oil, we have to pay the international company about the
not only that, the biggest fraud in it is the transportation of the crude. So after you mine, the oil companies have their own transportation companies that is different from the name that they have, and they charge the Nigerian government to transport the crude to this final destination. And you pay them first. But what we should have been doing is, why are you shipping most of your crude when you could be refining here?
The refinery never works.
But it's deliberate.
Because it's owned in joint venture with the companies. You see, if you know that Shell is making profit, because Shell only declare profit billions of dollars every year. My company they declare profit too. So why not just let them own the refinery 100%?
It's fine. What I'm saying here is this. I'm trying to let you know that all of it is deliberate, because the oil companies also don't want to have refineries there because they know we don't have leaders, and they know if we have refineries, that transportation charge is more important to them than having a refinery that's working.
Because
it's a joint sabotage process, between the multinational corporations. That's why they will kill the cost of this. There's a reason why they sacrifice against our will. For example, how can this guy come and make people open eyes to how well we are doing?
Because you as a president, I want you to do this for Nigerians. You're going to help facilitate to pass a law. If you make 500,000 and above barrels a day, then you must have a refinery in Nigeria, 100% owned by you or by Nigerians.
Yes.
To have the capacity to refine half of it. So if you are not willing to do it, then you're going to lose your oil.
There's no reason why.
Maybe if we make that law, that will force.
There's no reason why you cannot
build
refine most of your products instead of having to pay transportation fee. Yeah. And then you refine with one outside, and you only bring back one of the products of one of the refined products, which is or three. Yeah, petrol, diesel, and kerosene. And but that costs you more. Because now you are paying double transportation. One is, and then when you get to the port here, you have to pay demurrage they will intentionally delay the arrival of your boat so that you can pay demurrage to customs.
And we even pay them.
Everything is scam. Everything is a scam in this country. Government is a scam. Oil companies scam.
We really need your help.
Customs scam. But the reason why they are afraid of us is that they know that we have an understanding of how these things can be broken down very quickly. You know, the moment you change the players of this game, even there we get the signal over there that your company will know that they need a Nigerian subsidiary that is functioning.
Like you see,
because already they know that we know how this game is played.
Look at what you just said. Everything is scam. Yeah. Look at Nigeria, for instance. Look at our oil. This oil they call our oil, you are losing money on it. Yeah. It's not benefiting the poor people.
It's not benefiting. It's only benefiting the few.
It's only benefiting the rich. Yeah. How on earth? We are going to building refinery in Lagos here. So they are going to charge us transportation for bringing the crude to Lagos and taking the finished product. Yeah. But guess what? Government is subsidizing dollar for Dangote to build.
This was reported by Reuters.
Yeah, I was there a few days ago. Somebody told me that all the money they spend on that refinery is government money. Because they are selling dollar to Dangote at $1.18 per dollar when it was 460. You know, during the heat of the thing.
And
so Dangote will change the money and put the money back there.
So it's government. Let's look at it. How long did it take Dangote to build this refinery? Ask yourself.
Under 2 years, isn't it?
Nah, he refused to commission it because he wants more subsidy for dollars.
Exactly.
So it's just prolonging.
So maybe it took him 5 years. There was a protest in 2012, Occupy Nigeria. We could have built 10 refineries between that time and now.
And they spend more money on
refining and selling to. Even if we are supplying just gasoline to Africa, you know, it's enough to sustain us in this country. But nobody's interested. But we are subsidizing an individual who is building and his refinery will come on stream.
And he keeps delaying it.
You know, they're subsidizing him. They are killing landowners because of him. But we cannot do that for Nigeria as a whole. So we have been here and amazing conversation. I have to thank you. I'm excited.
You have a lot of places to touch as well.
And a lot to say. As we say, there's always a lot to say, but little time.
We'll keep using every available.
We are working together, ladies and gentlemen, with these great people here and their party in Ogun State, across Nigeria. We're going to take our country back. It's just no going back.
Thank you. I want you to please give assurance to the Nigerian youth that we are doing this because of them. Because the elders already told.
Look, let me say this to you. I'll say it differently. I'm doing it for myself too. This is enlightened self-interest. That I don't want to die in America. I don't want to be in second slavery forever. I want a country where this is December. Look at the weather, how it feels. You know, in America now, we're depressed because of winter.
Yeah, because it's very cold.
And this is Nigeria year-round, nice weather. What is lacking is infrastructure to support great life. The more we put it in place, no Nigeria will be going anywhere or we want to go and be washing plates or their bodies. It shouldn't be. We should be able to live here comfortably.
We need someone who's going to take the battle.
And just to let you guys know that it is possible. Another Nigeria is possible. It's on our fingertips. It's on our thumbprint. But if you don't make the very deliberate decision to grab it now, it will be gone almost forever. You know, I met with a musician yesterday, Duncan Mighty. Never met him before. You know, some of these musicians you don't know that they actually are very deep thinkers and that they follow everything. You think it's all paparazzi and you know, flashy things. He was saying it, and it's like I've been following it and I'm saying to myself, man, I'm inspired by somebody who can rise and say things differently, walk the, you know, his talk. And a lot of people out there who are just not confident enough to do what we are doing now because they're afraid you know, they are worried, you know, they are anxious. No, they have done the worst they can to us. This is the time to do the best they can. Yeah, you know, even if I die today or tomorrow, I have done my own parts, you know, and I will continue to. If there's life after death, I will be doing the same thing I'm doing now, hunting our oppressors everywhere they go. Yes, so
that is a very wonderful word of assurance. That what he's doing right now is the best he could do, and the best he know how. That even if there is a life after what he's doing right now, he's still going to do the same thing. And I want Nigerian youth to please wake up. Look at this. This thing we are all living together. He has achieved something that most people are unable to do in the past 40 years. And that is bringing the hope of possibilities that we can actually chase these people with. We are the one working for these people. Like you said earlier, these people are not smart.
They're not.
So they can't brainwash us. We are the one brainwashing ourselves. We should stop arrogating to them some powers that don't really belong to them. Power that they don't have. So this thing is possible.
How can Buhari brainwash people when the man doesn't have brain?
Go to your I agree with you. Go to your wards, your polling units. Just talk to your people. If Sowore can get 100 votes per polling unit, that is almost 100 times 63,000, right? How much is that? That's a lot of votes.
That's all it is.
That's that's a lot of votes. So that is what we need. So I want Nigerians to please believe in its possibilities. Don't go outside your boundary. Talk to your mom, your dad, your immediate family, your friends, your school.
Share the videos with them.
You need 100 people. You see, with 100 people per polling unit, 100 people per polling unit, Buhari cannot win the election, he cannot rig it. Because with 100 people per polling unit, on the average,
they can only rig the election if you allow them to.
That is more than the amount of votes that Buhari had, that made him president. So that means it's possible. So we can get it done. All you need to do is let them know about AAC, talk to them about Omoyele, talk to them about his plans. If you don't know his plans, just go on YouTube, go on Facebook. Bring out one of his videos.
Just go on his wall.
On his wall. You will see some of his videos.
Again and again.
Consistently.
One thing is the ultimate goal. Let's kick out the establishment. The fact that they are gone, meaning all their crooked ways will be gone. You see all these things they've been doing in NNPC, custom. Who are the victims of it? We are the victims of it. When they go to village to kill people, they kill innocent people. When SARS arrest people because they have laptop or phone. Like right now, you are guilty. Having
they stopped me before because
you arrest you.
They were wondering
where is the receipt?
What was my job?
We the poor, the masses, we are the victims of this thing, and we are the one that can fix it. All the rich people in Nigeria, they are not up to 1,000. All the people owing 90% of all banks loans, they are not even up to 100. So all the corporations that owns all the money in Nigeria are not 300.
I think they said 350 people.
Less than 100.
5.3 trillion naira.
So they own more than our budget, our national budget. So I mean more than the part of the budget that is achievable.
Anyway,
because they have.
We don't even achieve all the.
Some of them have gotten new loans again.
See, Burundi is one of them,
secured by the federal government, and they don't have collateral for
the APC gubernatorial candidate in Imo State is one of them. He collected contracts and he didn't fix it. He didn't execute the contract. So, poor Nigerians, please wake up. Go online, go to Sowore, check out his videos. You can use those videos to explain to your people what his plans are. Okay. Thank you so much for watching, and I sincerely appreciate you for coming.
And great thanks for bringing in Maiyegun-General. Amazing guy here, It's amazing, and
so we'll keep keeping it real, and they will keep following our own mind on this. We won't compromise and we won't give up.
There's no going back.
We have come this far that we can't even turn back.
No, it's too late.
It's better to get to the end of it and see what.
And we're close to the end.
We're almost there.
Yeah, we are close. We are back. That's why we call this revolution now.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. I'm so glad to meet you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you for coming.
To the team, to the Take It Back team all over the world out there. Thank you so much for standing by him.
Yes. And thanks for protecting him from the jaws of the evil. He's a great guy. I want to ask him the kind of I don't know the name to use, whether I should use the village people power, or the pastor power, or the
he has his own way.
But
it's the people.
He's
when you are protected by the people, you don't need it.
I watch his video every day. I say, how is he doing it? I've only been in Nigeria for how many weeks? 3 weeks now. My voice is gone. So he talks to people every day. It's really.
So we see you get inspired. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.